What are you doing?
Driving, going real fast. Then I'm gonna blast that sucker Yoshi in first, and I'm gonna be the #1 racing champion.
Racing champion. Dude, this isn't a real racing game.
What do you mean it's not a real racing game? Look at this. Look at this. I'm in a car. It's got pedal going. Look, right. Steer legs. Legs. Want to steer right.
Okay. Now, put the waggle down and take this into your hands. I will show you a real racing game.
Sega Rally Championship.
What's up, folks? Maximilian here. Welcome back to Sega Saturn Saturdays. I am once again joined with Matt.
Hey, what's going on?
And we are going to be taking a look at another Sega Saturn racing classic, and it is Sega Rally Championship. Sega Rally is actually a huge personal favorite of mine, and it paved the way for rally racers of future games. I think it might have actually been one of the first rally racing games.
It was definitely one of the best conversions of an arcade rally racer.
That's for sure.
If not, the first.
So tell us a little bit about the history. There's some actual interesting stuff behind the development team for Sega Rally. Let me know.
Sega Rally was actually developed by Sega AM3, not AM2, who was most popular with the Sega Saturn and the Model 2 arcade board.
Right.
Sega AM3 at the time was headed by Tetsuya Mitsuguchi, who you might be familiar with as he went on to later create Rez, Space Channel 5, and later form Q Entertainment, where he created Luminous, Child of Eden, among other things. From racing beginnings to rhythm music-based future.
And puzzle games, what the heck, man?
The developer AM3 was actually pretty interesting. Sad that it didn't stick around for much longer, but either way.
Sega Rally in itself actually still stands the test of time. Sega Rally went on to spawn later games, even Sega Rally 2 on the Sega Dreamcast, and an absolutely amazing commercial that I might run right now.
What's interesting about Sega Rally at the time was that it was a major selling point for the Sega Saturn. One reason for this is because the game ran at a constant 60 frames per second on the Sega Saturn, and the graphical, downgrades were very minor in comparison to other arcade ports.
There were some other games that the Saturn was very much in competition with, like the Rage Racer series, Ridge Racer 2, and things like that. There was this huge competitive drive between Namco and Sega, who could produce the ultimate arcade racing experience, which is the big driving force. Sega versus Namco was always just neck and neck with each other. Last Bronx being the first weapon combat game from Sega, and then Namco coming out right after with Soul Blade series. It's kind of crazy to think that these guys were neck and neck throughout the entire 1990s, and eventually we got some of the most awesome arcade games as a result. Maybe that's what we need. Maybe we need companies to be more versing each other,
That's an interesting point, because while we all know the console space was dominated in a war between Nintendo and Sega, and then later Sega, Sony, and Nintendo, the arcade space was always a constant battle between Sega and Namco, and a little bit Capcom, but Capcom kind of held down the fighting game genre pretty well.
Yeah.
So it was really Namco and Sega going toe-to-toe with a lot of the racing games in particular, so it was interesting to look back at this and see how Sega was using their own internal developers and their own video game system in competition with Namco and the Sony PlayStation.
It's an interesting history, and it's also an interesting game, even though you don't like these racing games very much.
I'll be quite honest, I am not a racing game fan.
You like your power-ups. I really enjoy the art of drifting and taking a corner of the perfect entry point, the perfect exiting speed, and you're like, yo dog, that's boring. So let's fire up some Sega Rally and see how it goes. Wake up!
This game is the greatest. Oh, fuck.
Really surprisingly well. I'm actually impressed by just the
How it actually runs well.
frame rate. and
Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, have you ever played Sega Rally on Saturn?
Maybe once. I don't know. I don't really like Sega Rally, to be honest. Not.
You think it's too floaty?
No, it's just I don't like racing games in general unless I can destroy other things on the course.
Oh, so you don't like real racing games?
No, I don't. I need to like destroy things, otherwise like something goes wrong in my head when I'm playing a video game.
The helicopter is a classic
Dropping a care
Sega
package or something?
It's a dropping a care package. Oh, Jesus. Get back here, you Samba de Amigo car.
The Tacomobile is getting away!
Samba DJ. Oh my god, people. So many people. Don't run on the road. Jesus Christ. Oh.
3, 2, 1. Game over.
Oh yeah!
Oh!
We win.
Time is up.
Time
Cars
is
are going
up.
through you. You become a ghost. America.
2-player battle.
American.
The way we're supposed to play. Can't even load the other menu. Alright, I'm playing with the Celica. Celica's delicious. Oh my god, what's happening? Why? This is the greatest thing I've ever played. Oh my god, there's that rubber banding taking effect. Get out of here, dude! Come on!
Oh!
There you go.
You bump me.
Wow.
Do you like use the shoulder buttons to drift or something? Or?
No, you have to just control the turn by pressing left or right. No, this isn't some Mario Kart, Sonic Racing, no. You have to press left and right,
Sonic Racing.
manage the brake, and you make the turn.
Sonic Racing's cool.
Legit drifting. Fucking asshole. You like suicided yourself into me.
Oh fuck, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
And I took a perfect turn. No! No! Get off me, asshole! No!
It was like in your grill and shit.
Don't hit me.
Don't stop in front of me then.
It's a giant U-turn and you're like, I don't give a shit. I pressed the B button, I hit gas.
God damn, I want a rocket so bad right now.
You want a rocket and a blue shell? Man, you suck.
I want a blue shell.
Jesus,
I want a fire.
oh god, dude.
Or bees.
My god.
Bees. I know
Why?
you
Can't
want
just
bees.
race.
Because racing's fucking boring, that's why.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna go a little fast, I'm gonna steer to the right, and maybe I'll steer to the left.
So many people hate you right now.
We are basically racing on like pixelated planks of wood that we call mud.
You just have to believe. You have no imagination. See, I'm not racing third person. Jesus Christ. I'm not racing third person in a game on the Sega Saturn. I am racing in a little Delta on a European cliffside, okay? Have a little bit of imagination. Oh, imagination. Jesus Christ.
Ah, fuck.
Jesus.
It's like that one area, like I just, the bumper of my car just like hits both sides. Oh my god, my car. It's like I've gotten worse now. Now that I see what I'm doing, it's like it's worse almost. It is worse. No, there's no if about it.
Some guy, I saw it on NeoGAF, bought a Sega Rally car. He bought a Celica that had all the fucking Sega Rally Castrol fixins all over it for like a few $1,000, yeah. So imagine seeing that thing just driving around, it'd be amazing. Or take it to E3, and just do laps around the freaking convention center. There's no consequence once again.
You know, this game is like so not Burnout.
Oh no, it's definitely not fucking Burnout.
Great racing.
Burnout Revenge is great racing because it's got a whole bunch of horse shit in it, you know? Like you fucking run into cars and go faster as a result.
Blow up, it's awesome.
There you go. Oh, right into the wall. Look at all the Sega Saturn logos and stuff.
WSD.
That barely even says Sega Saturn. It is so pixelated to junk that it doesn't even look like it. Ah, yes! Ah! That was close though. It got to be close. So there you have it, Simmons, the greatest racing game of all time. You're not asleep. Fuck you. What an asshole. You are an asshole. You don't appreciate the good stuff. The best.
So Sega Rally on the Sega Saturn actually runs extremely well, in single-player mode especially. Granted, the two... Hey! Saturn days, man. It's an important thing. Even though there's not a lot to Sega Rally, it is a straight-up racing game. There are 4 courses, there are 3 cars, and the best variants you're going to get between that are pretty much reverse courses and driving in manual. So what did you think of Sega Rally, man?
Very impressive for its time, mostly for the frame rate and the fact that the draw distance wasn't 5 feet, but it was
Yeah.
actually like 15.
Yeah.
But either way, Sega Rally was a really unique case. It did actually, I believe, get a internet enabled version on the Saturn.
Saturn Netlink, something
Netlink
like that.
version, but not easy to come by. And sadly, the first game is not really easy to come by either for current consoles.
Yeah.
You might be lucky and find an arcade that still has the game. It's actually not that uncommon in America.
Yeah, the Sega Rally machine was huge in arcades back in the day.
So you might still have a chance to play the game in its original setting with the full steering wheel and seat and all that.
It's pretty good.
But as it stands, you're probably going to have to dig in for a Sega Saturn and the game if you want to play the home console version the easiest way. Luckily though, like we said, it was a big game for the Saturn, got a lot of push. Pretty easy to find. You won't be shelling out much money for this if you want to go into that.
However, there was never really a Sega Rally rebirth. They never actually remade an HD version of this game, so you will probably have to find a Saturn or the old PC version. However, Sega Rally 2 does exist on the Dreamcast, as well as a faithful arcade port. And Sega Rally 3 eventually came out, I believe, from the same guys that made Sega and Sonic All-Stars Racing that recently just came out.
Later on, they actually, interestingly enough, later on in the series lifespan, they made a Sega Racing Studio. That's actually what they were called.
Yeah.
And for a while, they were in charge of the Sega Rally series and among other things. So that was, that didn't last forever. But
they eventually released Sega Rally 3, which was in the arcades, but actually it came out in the arcades after it did on consoles. You guys can check it out. It's called Sega Rally Revo. It might be like $4.99 on Xbox Live. I think they actually eventually made it turned it into a PSN/XBLA arcade title, so it's even cheaper and easier to come by now. But pretty much it has like deformation of physics on like the ground. You can track through mud. It actually changes the course on the next time you go through. There's some pretty interesting stuff. It definitely has those huge bright environments, similar cars that you might remember from Sega Rally, and it's a whole lot of the same. So if you guys want more and enjoy rally racing, in my opinion, Sega Rally Revo is pretty awesome for a mock arcade style of console game. So if you want to check that out, that is the future of the Sega Rally series. But we'll be back on Sega Saturn Saturdays checking out more future racing titles, and maybe one that you have some familiarity with.
Okay.
Got his Supersonic Racing? It's so great. It's so great. We'll be back, guys. Stay tuned on Sega Saturn Saturdays. See ya, folks.
Later.